Staff of Stasis.
Died, didn't he? All those lies he told himself, the justifications. He lost Felix long ago. Didn't even notice. Oh, Alexius.
I know you cared for him.
Once he was a man to whom I compared all others. Sad, isn't it?
Even with his dumb little hood.
I think it's the same one we made in Minrathous. That's a relief. Give me an hour to work out the spell he used, and I should be able to reopen the rift.
An hour? That's impossible. You must go now. The Elder One.
You have to hurry. This is bad.
It is kind of funny that we just managed to beat the Elder One in the first game.
Yeah.
And all he did was escape, like,
We'll head
in the second game.
Keep them off your tail.
We'll make this count.
The only way we live is if this day never comes. Cast your spell. You have as much time as I have arrows.
Well, at least we got the party here.
Goodbye, squad.
Though
She came back.
closes. I am shielded by flame.
Liliana, how are you? So, just like a character that has been cool from the beginning and stayed cool,
Yeah.
you know?
You move, and we all die!
She's not going down without a fight.
There's a person who follows us on YouTube who exclusively makes PvP Elden Ring content, but they made Liliana
Oh,
in
yeah.
Elden Ring.
You'll have to do better than that.
We're back, bitch. You just give up? That's all?
Is that the best you've got?
You won. There is no point extending this charade. Felix. It's going
Felix,
to be
man,
my
you do
fault.
not want to know what your future was like.
Yeah.
You'll die.
Everyone dies.
Well, I'm glad that's over with.
Hey guys. Clippity clop.
Or not.
Grand Enchanter Fiona. Queen Anora. When I granted your mage's sanctuary, I thought it was understood that they would not force my people from their homes.
Your Majesty, let me assure you, we never intended any of this.
Your intentions ceased to matter when my people were threatened. I am rescinding my offer of sanctuary. You and your followers will leave Ferelden at once.
But we have hundreds.
So could this have been Alistair at this moment?
Yes. Alistair and the Queen, I think. Was there a possibility where he was alone? I know when I've played it in the past, it was always him and the Queen together, because
Yeah,
I think them
you
getting
can have
married
it
is the
just be
canon
him.
one, yeah.
The Inquisition might be willing to take in the mages.
And what are the terms of this arrangement?
I mean, you signed your life
What
away
Alexius
for...
gave you. The Inquisition is better than that, yes?
I've known a lot of mages. They can be loyal friends if you let them. Friends who make bad decisions, but still.
No, Barrett!
I wonder who you're thinking about.
Little choice, but to accept whatever you offer.
You're our prisoners!
We would be honored to have you fight as
Solus greatly approves.
A generous
Okay, show me
offer.
everybody else's
But will the
opinion.
rest of the Inquisition honor it?
The breach threatens all of Thedas. We cannot afford to be divided now. We can't fight it without you. Any chance of success requires your full support.
Whether you accept...
Cassandra greatly disapproves, Iron Bull disapproves, Blackwell approves, Sarah greatly disapproves, and Varric approves.
We
What does
accept.
Dorian say?
It would be madness not to. I will gather my people and ready them for the journey to Haven. The breach will be closed. You will not regret giving us this chance.
Okay. I don't understand why Cassandra disapproved.
I think she's kind of just like an extension of the Chantry, and she doesn't think mages are evil necessarily, but I think she kind of agrees with Vivienne that they should be in the circles type viewpoint, you know?
It's not a matter for debate. There will be abominations among the mages, and we must be prepared.
If we rescind the offer of an alliance, it makes the Inquisition appear incompetent at best, tyrannical at worst.
What were you thinking, turning mages loose with no oversight? The veil is torn open.
You know what I was thinking.
One of these two, right?
Yeah, we've leaned into the they deserve freedom.
We
hardcore.
have, but that's kind of been our...
We can control ourselves without any outside help. This is not an issue of self-control. Even the strongest mages can be overcome by demons in conditions like these.
Enough arguing. None of us were there. We cannot afford to second-guess our people. The sole point of the Herald's mission was to gain the mage's aid, and that was accomplished.
The voice of pragmatism speaks. And here I was, just starting to enjoy the circular arguments.
Dorian, with your little one bare shoulder. You're so...
The longer the breach is open, the more damage it does. We should head there as soon as possible.
Agreed. We should look into the things you saw in this dark future. The assassination of Empress
Celine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
her name.
Army.
Sounds like something a Tevinter cult might do. Orlais falls, the Imperium rises. Chaos for everyone.
One battle at a time. It's going to take time to organize our...
Like, I want a full timeline of the
Let's
other
take this to the
timeline.
war room. Join us. None of this means anything without your mark, after all.
There goes my name.
Thank you. I'd be honored to help with the plan.
Meet us there when you're ready.
I'll skip the War Council, but I would like to see this breach up close, if you don't mind.
Then you're staying?
Oh, didn't I mention? The South is so charming and rustic. I adore it to little pieces.
I am glad you're staying, for sure.
There's no one I'd rather be stranded in time with, future or present.
Excellent choice. But let's not get stranded again anytime soon, yes?
I'll begin preparations to march on the summit. Make her willing, the mages will be enough to grant us victory.
Alright. So, we got Vivienne here. I'm sure she's got a lot of fucking shit to say to us after this. But, let me see. I would like... Should I... No, let's keep going ice. What does this do? Okay, that seems good. We'll do that. Alright, Vivienne. Vivienne greatly disapproves.
Abominations are inevitable. Cullen doesn't have enough
Sounds
manpower
like
to handle incidents. Some of the rank and file need to be trained.
We can handle the mages. There's no need for Templars.
Have any of these men faced
Slightly
abomination
disapproves.
before, my dear?
Vivienne does not like us right now, I'm sure.
No, not at all.
And the raw power of the Fade rushes out like floodwaters through a shattered levee.
I'm trying to see if I can find the timeline of the other universe.
Where the veil is thin. And if demons can walk our world with no blood magic to summon them, how safe do you think our allies are? There has never been a greater threat to mages than the breach. Until it is closed, no one is safe.
Should I ask her, so do you pose a risk?
I mean, if you want to make her mad.
Or say you don't trust mages, period.
You have a low opinion of your fellow mages?
It's not so much an opinion as grasping the obvious. Magic is dangerous, just as fire is dangerous. Anyone who forgets this truth gets burned.
She is not going to listen to anything I have to say, but...
Dalish get along just fine without Templars or Circle Towers.
As I understand it, the
slightly disapproves. She hates me.
Mages in a clan. Tell me, what becomes of the Dalish youngster who is not appointed first or second?
Say what you mean.
If you want to say something about the Dalish, say it.
Say it to my
Those who value
face.
survival. Sentimentality is not an option. Tell me something. You said once that you wanted to change things. What future would you build for mages?
Well, mages should be free. The other two would just contradict everything else I've said in this conversation, so I don't even know why they appeared.
Yeah.
Mages should
Greatly
be treated like
disapproves.
How free did you feel living on the run, never straying too close to villages or staying in one place too long? Paint the cage any color you like. It is still a cage. It's something to consider, my dear.
Alright. Vivian hates us.
The
Like, a lot.
Your assistance in this matter, Lady Corbin. And my miners appreciate your business. You'll have your lyrium by the end of the week. I should tell you, Ambassador, the Chantry raised some fuss when they learned about our arrangement. The Inquisition must certainly seem an audacious idea to the Grand Clerics. We hope to convince them it is a necessary one as well.
Necessary.
I understand you were instrumental in garnering the assistance of the rebel mages. It is well done. And I pray this Inquisition fares better than the Chantry in its handling of magic.
You disapprove of something the Chantry did. Are you allowed to do that?
Are you allowed to do it?
Can you say she said the quiet part out loud?
Heretics already, I am safe enough. In some ways, Andraste had the simpler task. Magic should serve man, and not rule over him. That tells us what should be, but it does not tell us how to get there. So many times the methods of men have...
How is this woman more understanding than fucking Vivienne?
Yeah. She has an understanding of complexity.
Or its own namesake.
Can you tell me how our people are doing?
What would you like to know?
Oh god.
How are the villagers in Haven doing?
You did well to gain the mages to your cause. The people have hope that the breach may be sealed. Some of them are returning to the lives they fled. Others are starting fresh. In either case, they no longer believe the world as they know it is ending.
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees in the hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead.
Oh wait, did I know about that?
Begging for assistance. People are vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified.
Damn, everybody's fucked up all around.
We don't learn too much about what Alexius did, except that because he knows that we're still alive, he's trying to go back in time to before the breach to stop the breach, like that from happening at all. But he can't go back farther than the first day of the breach.
Oh, okay.
I'll take my leave. Good day.
Who was she, Ambassador?
A merchant. I thought we should reach out to the dwarves to secure lyrium for the Inquisition's mages. According to Lady Corbin, it raised the ire of the Chantry.
How?
Access to lyrium makes us rather more formidable than anticipated. We're becoming a challenge. Sadly, the remaining Grand Clerics appear to be consolidating the Chantry's power. Instead...
I didn't realize she was a mage.
She's not a mage.
She said makes us rather more powerful.
I think she means the Inquisition.
No.
It makes the Inquisition more powerful. The remaining Grand Clerics appear to be consolidating Chantry's power instead of comforting the masses.
Mage circles started falling years ago. The Chantry was troubled even before the Divine's murder.
Yet many people continue to bear it great love. We will not benefit from its decline. Little but the Chantry ties Orlais, Nevarra, Ferelden, Antiva, and even Rivain to a common cause.
Has the Chantry truly promoted such peace?
Andraste's chant is familiar across kingdoms, a source of many shared customs. That is the crucial point. Common ground is the start of all negotiations.
I suppose a shared faith can be useful when talking with strangers.
Precisely. And these similar interests are merely where we begin. We must learn to think.
Look at that girl just standing
She's
there.
just there, yeah.
I'll keep the romance going.
Lovely and selfless. Go into Elysian politics, Lady Montillier.
Well, that is, really, you give me too much credit. While you're here, I do have a question.
Just flirt in front of everybody.
The remaining Grand Clerics sent a missive inquiring about the events at the Temple of Sacred Ashes. They demand to know whether the Inquisition officially claims that Andraste saved you from the breach. If it were up to you, how would you reply?
I'll tell the Chantry I was saved by circumstance, not divine intervention.
Yet as rumors your Andraste's herald grow, the Grand Clerics may not believe such a humble reply. A difficult situation, and I thank you for your answer. A good day to you.
And a good day. Good day to you.
Abiento.
Right? Okie dokie. Hold on, now we gotta talk to everybody. Hi, Luna. I don't remember where Dorian is here. But we're just gonna go around the circle. Oh god. Luna, I'm so scared of you scratching me.
There's nothing about the disappearance of the Grey Wardens. It's a disappointment. I am, however, glad that he is with us. Even if he was...
She's like, I knew like the most powerful Grey Warden to ever live. This guy is merely a man.
As for the other wardens, I suppose we will have to keep looking.
I watched you die for me. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll do that one.
You sacrificed yourself so that I could return here.
Of course I did. One small life in exchange for a second chance at history. I always loved a bargain.
It was still a sacrifice, and still noble.
And I would do it again.
Well, I want to know why you aged 100 years in 10 years.
Bards tell tales. I bet you tell some good ones.
I know, Luna. He's not giving you the attention you want.
Perhaps you should look for them there.
What did you do before you worked for the Divine?
I was a bard, an Orlesian spy for many years. For a time I also served a small cloister in Lothering. After the Blight, the Divine called on me to oversee her personal network.
Can you teach me to be a bard?
Being a bard is so much more than being a spy. It involves...
You gotta memorize a whole lot of songs. You gotta learn how to play some instruments.
Flow of influence. The great game. The Bards is an intricate dance where a smile can be sharper than any dagger. The best way to learn is to immerse yourself in it. Perhaps when this is all over, I'll teach you.
I should leave
It starts with there was a man who would see.
Okay. Good talk. Let's go this way. We'll start with Solus. Oh, Dorian might be over here too, actually, because I see a second head. Yep, there he is. Hello, Dorian Pavis.
The Inquisition supports free mages. What's next? Elves running Halamsharal? Cows milking farmers?
Give me time. I'm sure I'll surprise you.
I suspect that's untrue. Unless you strip yourself naked and allow the Chantry to flog you into repentance. Now, that would surprise me. I do wonder if you've considered what this support of yours will do. For mages in general, I mean. The Inquisition is seen as an authority.
These games are also like,
mages licensed to...
I guess if you like had a good teacher, you know, they could be used to elaborate on, like, what you're doing when you're aligning yourself in politics and stuff.
Yeah.
If that means they're anything like you, I approve.
Ha! There aren't many mages back home like me.
I'd believe that.
I never fit in. Bloodstains are so difficult to clean, you see.
So we're doomed to a future of blood magic, then?
Not at first. But you'd be a fool not to see where this could lead. Thing is, the Imperium was once just like the South. Templars, proper circles, all that rot. Then it changed. By inches. Not that this is reason to oppress us. Still, my homeland should be a cautionary tale, not a source of inspiration.
It occurs to me that I barely know anything about you.
Beyond my being a mage from Tevinter, you mean?
Beyond that.
A mage from
A
Tevinter?
mage?
Beyond my being so charming and well-dressed, which is obvious to anyone.
Oh, it's obvious to me, baby.
I'm well aware of your finer qualities, believe me.
Of course I believe you. The moment I saw you, I thought, there's a man who knows
Who knows quality?
Now, what was I
Quality.
Ah, yes, me. I am the scion of House Parvis, a product of generations of careful breeding and the repository of its hopes and dreams. Naturally, I despised it all. The lies, the scheming, the illusions of supremacy. That's Tevinter in a nutshell, isn't it? Needless to say, my family was not happy with my choices.
What do you mean by generations of care?
I was like, I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Tevinter don't have children. They refine traits, weed out the undesirable, and promote the rest. My mother was chosen for my father because magic runs strongly in her blood. Never mind that they loathed each other. They wanted a son who could become Archon to make House Parvis the envy of the Imperium. They got me. A cautionary tale that you should be careful what you wish for.
I'm getting the impression that you don't care much for your homeland.
On the contrary, I care for my homeland a great deal. There's so much potential. Sadly, we squander it. We refuse to acknowledge how far we've fallen because pretending is easier.
You'd be looking a little thick from this angle.
Oh, yeah.
Pretending is superior to everyone, even our own people. Not everyone feels that way. I don't. Sadly, we're the minority.
Special.
It just seems so much of what you say about the Imperium is entirely negative.
It might sound that way. For all our faults, my people have many virtues. We are laden with history and culture. Tevinter is where Thedas truly began, remember? We treasure our past and preserve it. You can walk down a side street and find nothing built during the modern ages. And despite appearances, we care. Deeply. About everything. We have no reserve, not in war and not in love. If I truly believed my homeland was beyond all hope, I wouldn't miss it so much.
Why would your family be upset?
So eloquent.
Because I rejected their idyllic plan. If they had their way, by now I'd be married to some unlucky girl from a powerful family. We'd live in luxurious despair, despising each other as I waited to take my father's place in the magisterium. I declined the honor, and thus it's best I'm far from home. Less of an embarrassment that way, you see.
Why remain with the Inquisition? Why not go back to Tevinter?
I'm not exactly welcome back home. Not that it matters, I'm quite accustomed to being a pariah. It adds to my charm. I can do more for Tevinter here. If the Venatori succeed, it'll set my homeland back 1,000 years. I'm sure some magisters would disagree, but that's why we kill them.
I think I've heard enough.
That's too bad. I never tire of talking about myself.
Alright, well, tell me about the Imperium.
Yeah,
then.
yeah, keep going.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Oh.
Ah, yes, everyone outside the Imperium always seems quite fascinated by it. Probably why they come up with so
Don't worry, I did the same thing to Iron Bull, so...
cows over Minrathus. That's madness. Alright, that one's actually true, but the cows didn't have wings. I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
Oh, God. Okay.
Just how often is blood magic used there?
Oh, Not at all.
24/7.
That's what any Magister would tell you. They'd be convincingly offended by the notion too. Of course, what people call blood magic here, and what we consider blood magic, are two different things.
What's considered actual blood magic in Tevinter?
Blood magic isn't inherently dangerous. Using your own blood or that of a willing participant, what's the harm? The problem is that what's permitted only gets you so much power. And what if you need more? You always need more. That's where we get into sacrifices and demon summoning. None of that is done. Not officially. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. Real blood magic can give you an edge, a leg up against your opponents. It's safe to assume that any mage of rank does it. The rest are quietly shut out of power, to put it bluntly.
You'd think the Templars would object.
I imagine they did, long ago.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Then their balls were cut off. Too inconvenient. Nowadays, only the friendless are accused. Most of them probably innocent.
There must be some mages who oppose this.
Of course. I do. And I'm not entirely alone.
Me.
Occasionally, there'll be a magister who makes noise. And then the reform talk begins. All very patriotic. Meanwhile, that magister will be quietly shunned. Chances are, surprise, it's learned he was a Maleficar all along. Most learn to keep quiet.
Convenient.
Me? I enjoy the allure of pariahhood.
It seems strange that an entire empire would be ruled by mages.
Strange? Why are you less qualified to rule than some tart with a fancy crown? Actually, the fiction in the Imperium is that mages don't rule. The Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the Magisterium exactly?
The upper house of the Imperial Senate, and the only part worth having a seat on. Those seats are split among the circles of Magi, the Chantry, and the major families. All mages now. It's odd that outside the Imperium, you use Magister like it applies to every Tevinter mage.
If you're not a Magister, then what are you called? No
I am.
I'm
sexy.
North.
Which is almost as good as a Magister, depending on who you ask.
I've never heard of an Altus.
Upper class. Those families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first prophets of the old gods. If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're later. Lower class. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soperati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
They're Italian.
I thought the Archon ruled over the Imperium.
Well, yes. Technically, he can
Bless you?
overrule laws passed by the Magisterium, but that never happens. Even so, he gets to appoint new Magisters, which means all the families vie madly for his favor. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to Tevinter influence, let me tell you.
If it's a fiction, that means mages do rule then.
Yes and no. Let me put it this way. Mages do rule, but not all mages are equal. If you're not from the right family, chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe you're even a slave. The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Can anyone be a mage?
Technically. The potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to happen. More importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes from humble origins. So they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Someday. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
Being a quaestor...
Yeah, he's the same vocabulary.
The average non-mage likes to think so. Counting numbers and shuffling papers all day is better than many occupations after all.
That's what I do.
Second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
Let me ask you something else.
Of course.
Let me ask you a million things.
There's an Imperial Chantry, isn't there? With its own divine.
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you? If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face, like you're urinating in public. But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it.
I wonder if this is a riff off of the Papal Schism when there was like a whole bunch of popes all at once.
Oh, yeah.
The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not rule over him business. Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them, for the good of the Imperium. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
There are circles of Magi in the Imperium.
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're soldiers.
They don't use Lyrium.
Ha! As if there'd be any left for them. They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce their magisterium's edicts. The Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
You really call him the Black Divine?
Sounds pretty cool.
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true divine. The woman sitting on the Sunburst throne is some backwater pretender. It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise.
He's got a lot of info.
Yeah, I guess like this is leading towards the next game.
The next game, yeah.
Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, blah blah blah. We
blah blah blah.
Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less damning, you see. So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
So the Imperial Divine is always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other one, yes. Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't they be divine after all? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done. Excellent reasoning.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
Ah. The big question. It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian. I simply do not believe in the Chantry. It is irrelevant whether back home or here in the South. Something from a bygone age desperately clinging to relevance. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
So he's saying he believes in some sort of...
He believes in Andraste and God.
But not the Chantry.
Not that the Chantry knows everything.
I guess I agree? Well, I have Dalish gods, so... I don't know.
I share your opinion, actually.
That's not surprising, considering what the Inquisition represents. I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
Alright.
Hell yeah.
That the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong. You are what we needed most at the moment we needed it. That's what they will say in ages to come.
You don't seem like the religious sort, to be honest.
If you define religious as sitting in a chantry and listening to a blithering...
Although, honestly, Liliana doesn't seem like the religious type either, and she's one of the most fanatical...
larger than yourself exists, then yes, by all means. The world is bigger than I. Even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe. But I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening.
Let me ask you something else.
Oh, boy. Tell me about it.
I'm wondering if the Imperium...
He's like, you really want to hear more? I'll keep talking.
I was like, I'm just gonna talk to him and then save, and I'll talk to everybody else next time, and then he keeps going.
They'll disavow all knowledge of dangerous cultists. Secretly, many magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime, all the better.
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could use allies.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time ago. We've been fighting the Qunari for what, 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we go it alone. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, "You've had it easy for far too long." Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the Inquisition's formation.
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as
Yeah, you got me there.
I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
Anyone who talks about the Imperium mentions slavery. It's the center of the slave trade.
Ah, that is true.
And did you have slaves?
Not personally, but my family does and treats them well. Honestly, I never thought much about it until I came south. Back home, it's how it is. Slaves are everywhere. You don't question it. I'm not even certain many slaves do.
It's not like that here.
Yeah, I guess.
He doesn't seem to be saying the slaves are happy.
Yeah.
In the south, you have alienages, slums, both human and elven. The desperate have no way out. Back home, a poor man can sell himself. As a slave, he could have a position of respect, comfort, and could even support a family. Some slaves are treated poorly, it's true. But do you honestly think inescapable poverty is better?
Treated poorly.
Is that what you call it? Treated poorly?
Abuse heaped upon those without power isn't limited to Tevinter, my friend. I don't know what it's like to be a slave, true. I never thought about it until I saw how different it was here. But I suspect you don't know either. Nor should you believe that every tale of Tevinter excess is the norm.
That's it.
I wanted to know.
Fair enough.
Now, where's our friend?
Yeah.
Alexius yet? He's in the cells.
Yet no. I saw him before they locked him up. He looked despondent, broken. Not the man I remember, nor the one I want to. I suppose the Inquisition will judge him eventually. I wonder if there's any chance they'll show him mercy. He hardly deserves it, but for Felix's sake. I can't help hoping there's something left of the man I once knew.
Alright, 15 minutes later, we're done with all of Dorian's dialogue.
He's an interesting character, though.
I mean, you don't have to tell me that.
I would love to see him talk to Fenris.
Oh, oops. Right? Yeah, that would be really interesting. He is my favorite character in this game.
Yeah,
so...